All right, folks, in today's video, we're going to show you the formula for trading success. Without further ado, let's jump right in. So here we go. Strategy plus capital plus discipline multiplied by times equals success. Now, this formula works every single time. Now, there's one little thing about it, though. I actually have it in the wrong order right now. I'm going to wait until the end of the video and put it in the right order. But in the meantime, I'd like for you to put down in the comments what you think is the correct order and which one you think is the most important out of that list. Now, back to the list. You may be thinking to yourself, this is too simple. Well, it's not too simple, but it is simple. But is it easy? Well, what's the difference? Think about it this in the arena of trying to lose weight. We all know what the formula is for losing weight. You consume fewer calories than you burn. All right, that's a simple formula. But is that easy? Well, of course not. If it was easy, we wouldn't have a $72 billion weight loss industry here in the United States. As we begin, the first thing we need to do is to make sure we clearly define what all of these terms mean. I don't want to say something and you hear one thing and me mean another. So first up is strategy. Now, this goes by several different names. You've got trade plan, you've got edge, I've heard it called alpha. Basically, it boils down to the what, the when, and the how of your specific trades, right? This one encompasses the most social media content, and that's understandable. I mean, there's only a certain number of ways that you can increase your discipline. There's only a certain number of ways you can increase your capital. But when it comes to strategy, there are thousands of strategies out there. Matter of fact, for a beginner, you can almost drown in a sea of choices. You get lost. Another thing is, it probably is the most popular on social media because it's the easiest to understand, right? You hear discipline, what does that mean? You hear capital, I'm not sure what that is. Strategy, everyone knows what strategy means. Next up is capital. Think of this as the fuel for your trading account. You might be a successful trader trading 20% a year or getting a 20% a year return, Warren Buffett level, with perfect discipline and a great strategy. But if you're only trading $100, are you really going to feel successful? Because you're making $20 a year. You're probably at some point going to look at that one number and think, I want that one number to go up. You're going to feel frustration. Matter of fact, lack of capital can turn so many successful traders into an unsuccessful trader. Well, what do I mean by that? Well, imagine again, you're trading $1,000 or $10,000 and you're making 20% a year, maybe 30% a year. Maybe you're just really killing it. So you're making, what, $2,000 to $3,000. Eventually, you're going to take your eye off of, like Peter, right, with the waves, and he wasn't staring at Jesus anymore. He was staring at the waves. You're going to take your eyes off what's important and look at the things around you. And you're going to say, well, I want to make more money. I want that one element, that dollar sign, to go up. I don't care about the return, the percentage, the win rate, all of those things. And so what you're going to do, you're going to stop trading the way you have been, what's made you successful up to now from a number standpoint, and you're going to start taking on more risk. Or maybe you trade differently, different market, a different time frame. Basically, you go from being a successful trader to an undisciplined trader, and pretty soon you are an unsuccessful trader or a broke trader. That happens so many times, and lack of capital can be the fuel, unfortunately, for that particular downfall. Now, the good news is that there are more and more ways these days of finding outside capital. It's just getting easier. It seems like every month we have some new way in some other market of reaching outside capital. And I'm going to go over all of those different ways in a highlight video we'll be putting out soon. Next up is discipline. Now, we've heard before the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. Well, I would like to think that a good definition for discipline would be doing the same thing over and over again and expect the same result. I mean, we hear this all the time from athletes to Navy SEALs, this repetition and training that yields to positive performance. Think about our weight loss analogy. I mean, what is the important element there in weight loss? It is discipline, right? Matter of fact, discipline is the universal element to learning any new skill. The sad thing is it is so often drowned out in trading education, especially on social media. And no one is willing to say the one thing that is most important when it comes to discipline. It is hard work. It takes time. And most importantly, it sucks. Yes, there, I said it. It sucks. It is boring. It's monotonous. It is, did I mention, it's hard work. However, discipline is also the glue that ties your strategy and your capital together. It is so critical. And to be honest, it is the one element amongst all of these that separates, or that most separates, the amateurs from the professionals. One of the things we're going to be doing here on this channel all the time is tying in everything we do with biblical principles. Case in point, Galatians 5:22. The fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. When I was a kid, I actually stopped before self-control because I didn't like it. But I've often wondered why Paul put self-control last. Well, if it's somebody like me, and I read self-control first, be like, oh, this fruit of the Spirit is self-control, love, joy. Nope. I'm out. But the other thing is that there is an element of self-control contained in the previous 5. Now, personally, I think that the fruit of the Spirit is broken. It's 9 of them. It's broken into a group of 3 and a group of 6. The first 3 are God-given, and the next 6 are man-practiced. You know, we can't create love, but we can create patience. Right, how do we do that? We take the first 3, love, joy, peace, and we apply it through self-control. So we can generate patience. We can generate kindness, well, you get the point. This, by the way, is going to be the foundation of the upcoming book, Discovering the Joy of Trading. So you take those first 3 elements. Those are the ones that you control. Those are the ones that you bring to the market. Next up is the one that everyone has in equal proportion and no one can control, unless, of course, by the way, if you got that reference, give me a thumbs up down below. So time is something that we can't control, obviously, unless, you know. But it is something that we absolutely can sabotage. We can't create any more of it. We can't speed it up or slow it down, but we can keep it from doing what it's supposed to be doing. Time is there to try your patience. However, not only will it try your patience, it will also reward you handsomely. This is your multiplier. So think of those elements that you bring to the market that we talked about before, the ones you control: strategy, capital, and discipline. You take those and you multiply them times time, both for good and for bad. If you've got a winning strategy and good discipline and some capital, time will reward you. However, if you've got bad discipline or bad strategy, time will destroy you, especially if you do not incorporate time into your formula, into your strategy, into your discipline. If you don't incorporate it realistically, turning $100 into $1 million is not going to happen. I don't care how much time you have. It is not going to happen. Now, the other way around can happen pretty quickly if you're not careful. However, you could turn $100,000 into $120,000 in a realistic period of time, say a year. You may be thinking to yourself, well, $20,000, that's not enough money to live off of. Okay, so then what you do then is you leave everything else the same. You leave your strategy the same. You leave your time the same, you leave your discipline the same, and you look to just multiply that capital. Ecclesiastes 3:1 says, to everything there is a season and a time for every purpose under heaven. I know what you're thinking, but no, that was actually Solomon and not the birds. And if you have that song in your head, like I do mine, you're welcome. So I love diving into the meanings of the word. So season there means set time. Purpose, this one's great. Purpose, pleasure, or longing, or the fat in which one takes delight. So if we accept that there is a set time for trading, both within our trading and how long trading takes, we're going to see our delight in due time. So the trading success formula, if you give each element the proper attention that it is due, absolutely you will have success. Earlier in the video, I said that the original order I had them in was the wrong order. Did any of you guess this? Time multiplied by discipline plus strategy plus capital equals success. Did I get that? Well, it was an 19th century English preacher named Charles Spurgeon who defined discernment not as the difference between right and wrong or knowing the difference between right and wrong, but in fact as knowing the difference between right and almost right. I think these days we need discernment more than ever. So if you got this, you are almost right. Now, time absolutely is the most critical element of the ones listed, mainly because none of us have enough of it, but mostly, especially newer traders, don't give time enough emphasis, enough importance. Remember earlier when I said that Discipline sucks? Well, yeah. Waiting also sucks. Needing time, needing to wait on time sucks. And this is the one element that social media, and I don't mean to keep harping on social media. This, in fact, is social media. But this is the one element that in social media you hear about the least. And I guess it makes sense. No one's going to put out a video that says, hey, follow my strategy, wait 30 years, and you'll be a millionaire. No one's going to watch that. But above all of the other ones, time is the most important. I mean, when you take just those two, capital times time, amazing things can happen. Again, if you have incorporated it into your strategy realistically. So, the actual correct order of the trading success formula, here we go. Success equals time times discipline plus capital plus strategy. Now you say to yourself, which one's first? Now which one is last? Hang on. Strategy. Why is strategy last? It's the most popular one out there. And I agree. It is the most popular. But it cannot stand on its own. It is the most misunderstood. Again, social media is a wonderful thing when it comes to trading. You can learn everything you need to learn on social media about trading. And you can learn everything you never needed to know about trading on social media. One of the hallmarks of a beginning trader is something called strategy jumping. And this is because you get enamored with a strategy and you don't give things enough time. So you see some guy on YouTube or some guy on Twitter and you think, oh man, look at that strategy. He just turned $100 into $200 overnight or into $1,000 in a week. I'm going to go do that. And you just dive in. You take all your capital and none of your discipline and frankly, none of your time, and you dive into it. And maybe you have a little success, but inevitably you're going to fail or you're going to feel like it is failing. And at that point, you're going to go, oh, squirrel, I see something over there. That's a fantastic strategy. Let me take the remainder of my capital and jump over there. And you go from strategy to strategy to strategy. It happens to all of us. It has happened to me. The other thing is, with enough time and discipline and capital, in our opinion, any strategy will work. Now, of those that you control, yes, discipline is the key element. For beginners, well, when I was a beginner especially, I didn't want to hear this, right? Discipline was not the exciting one. I wanted to hear about strategy. I want to hear about capital. Beginners don't know about this and frankly don't want to know about this. The struggling trader, and those are the ones that we are really trying to reach the most. The struggling traders are the ones that are coming to the realization that discipline is going to be the key to their success. And the advanced traders, well, you already know discipline is the most important because you wouldn't be where you are without it. But the number one thing, the number one reason that I have success first in the formula is you have to define it on the front end. You must, it is so critical. This is so critical that you define success on the front end. You have to know what it looks like so that you can know when you have it, or you have to know where it lives so that you know when you got in there. You have to begin with the end of the formula. This formula, this defining success must begin with you defining what it means for you to be a successful trader, right? That is the key. This is the key activity we do on our trading course online. I hate to do this to you. As a result of how critical defining success is, it has to have its own video. I'm sorry. In the meantime, do you agree or disagree with either the order or the elements? Especially if you disagree, please leave me a comment down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And by the way, make sure you hit the notification bell so you will know when the defining success video does come out. And until then, I'll see y'all next time.